Is this guy crazy? In the middle of this war raging like wildfire, he charges straight onto the battlefield with a camera. He carefully films every single fight, every wounded soldier. That kid is basically a young Steven Spielberg, the legendary director behind blockbusters like E.T., the famous Alien movie, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, and a whole bunch of other iconic films. Back then, movie special effects were still pretty basic, but he already knew how to fake explosions with wooden planks and use water balloons to mimic bullet hits. But what nobody expected is that this famous director, as a kid, didn't even like watching movies. He thought the people on screen looked huge and way too violent. His dad patiently explained, it's just because the screen is big. Movies can have monsters, they can have giants, and they can even have good-hearted people, along with hateful, evil forces. In 1952, one groundbreaking film appeared and helped people experience cinema from a shockingly realistic perspective. The roar of a steam locomotive, a brutal impact, sending an expensive Lamborghini flying instantly. The visuals felt real, the sound felt alive, and it completely fired Sammy up. Right then, he made a promise to himself. One day, he would bring stories like that to the screen. His parents also noticed his talent, and to support his dream, his father, an architect, was incredibly generous. He spent half a month's salary to buy Sammy an expensive electric train set, complete with tracks. Back then, electric model trains were insanely expensive, and even with money, they weren't easy to get. That gift from his dad made young Sammy feel even more encouraged. He locked himself in his room for days, studying crash scenes non-stop. Before long, smart little Sammy figured out how those scenes were filmed, but without a camera, he couldn't recreate what he imagined. When Sammy was 7, his mom showed up with a camera. It was the family camera they used for memories, like when they went on trips. And because film was so expensive, his parents barely recorded anything. But when they saw he wanted to make movies, his mom didn't hesitate. She handed him the camera and every roll of film they had. Even with her support, the film supply was limited. Altogether, it was only enough for a few seconds of footage. If he messed up even once, that meant wasting an entire roll. So to make sure nothing went wrong, Sammy kept adjusting the camera angles in his room. The light wasn't good enough, so he grabbed flashlights from around the house to light the set. His dad borrowed a small projector from his brother's place. Sammy couldn't wait. He loaded the film into the projector and excitedly pulled his mom in to watch his masterpiece, even though it was only a few seconds long and the editing was super rough. The result still made his mom genuinely happy. With that first experience, young Sammy was no longer satisfied with filming trains. He even got his 2 little sisters to help him shoot a horror film. And when he said he wanted to film a tornado, his mom didn't hesitate. She drove him as close to the storm as she possibly could. With the whole family supporting him, Sammy built up tons of filming experience from a very young age, and his work kept getting more and more vivid. When the family went camping, he even filmed his mom dancing, so he could edit it later. Sammy asked his dad to buy a film editing machine, but it cost $80, and his grandmother was seriously ill. The family had to spend everything on her treatment, so his dad said no, but he regretted it soon enough. A few days later, his grandmother passed away from her illness. Seeing her lying in bed, Sammy's mom was devastated. His dad tried to comfort her, but then he realized they didn't have a single photo of her. So he brought the editing machine to Sammy, hoping his son could edit their camping footage into a movie for the family. Seeing the brand new machine, Sammy could barely contain himself. Without thinking twice, he agreed to his dad's request. And to help Sammy learn editing the right way, his dad even invited Grandma's younger brother, Uncle Boris. Boris was a well-known action film director. Back then, he loved making monster action movies, and he had 2 popular titles, one about a shark and one about a man versus lion fight. The moment Boris arrived, Sammy rushed out his storyboard notes. After hearing Boris's advice, Sammy formed his own clear idea. He started editing, but while cutting the camping scenes, Sammy noticed something was off. His mom and the neighbor were being way too intimate. Not wanting to break his dad's heart, he deliberately cut a few shots out. That became the earliest director's cut Sammy ever made. When his dad watched the finished edit, the whole family was overjoyed. With new equipment, Sammy was no longer stuck, making only short clips. He began preparing for the war movie he dreamed of making for so long, but with no budget or supplies, he couldn't buy the explosives he needed. Still, that wasn't enough to stop smart little Sammy. He dug a hole and buried a wooden board underneath. So when someone stepped on one end, dirt would shoot up like an explosion. And for gunfire scenes, he used firecrackers instead. The set was fully prepared, and the actors had to keep up too. Sammy had high standards for performances, but he didn't have the budget to hire real professionals, so all the extras were just his classmates. They could handle the shooting and fighting, but whenever a scene needed real emotion, they fell flat. So Sammy had to coach them step by step, what to feel and how to show it. Sammy's best friend played the male lead for the first time, and he actually surprised Sammy. Watching his teammates fall one by one, his emotions started to crack. And even Sammy got moved while editing that scene. Even with crude conditions, the message of the film was genuinely meaningful. On its first day screening, it caused a small sensation in the area. Sammy wasn't even 18 yet. But when the film ended, he again saw his mom being too close with the neighbor. His face said it all. He was furious. After the screening, he didn't smile even once. What his mom was doing was something he couldn't accept. They argued because of it. And in anger, he blurted out that she was cheating. The moment he said it, he regretted it. Some things, once broken, become the fuse that tears a family apart. What happened with his mom also made Sammy realize the dark side of filming. A camera can capture things that only bring pain later. So he went to a shop to sell his camera and ran into the neighbor picking something up. The man gave him a gift, something precious, for Sammy's coming of age. A limited edition camera with a wider lens and longer recording time. Seeing it in the man's hands, Sammy hesitated for a second, but after thinking it through, he still refused. The neighbors sensed something was wrong and roughly guessed the reason, but even so, he refused to back down from giving the gift. He stopped Sammy and spoke his mind. "Think whatever you want about me, but if you quit filmmaking, you'll only make your mother sad. You really will break her heart. She doesn't deserve that, and you know it." After the neighbor's advice, Sammy chose to compromise, but he refused to take it for free. He dug out $35 from his pocket and insisted on buying the camera. It wasn't nearly enough, but the neighbor didn't refuse. Not long after, Sammy's dad's job changed, and the whole family moved to the western United States. But the new place didn't mean a fresh start for him. At the time, America was in the middle of an anti-Semitic wave. Jewish people everywhere were being isolated, and because of his identity, Sammy ran into trouble non-stop. The school bully noticed him, and anytime he got the chance, he came looking for a fight. To avoid trouble, Sammy kept swallowing it and staying quiet. But the more he held back, the worse the bully got. Eventually, Sammy couldn't take it anymore, so he decided to teach him a lesson, his own way. "Hey, you know what? Looks like your boyfriend should apologize for making out on the stairs with a redhead like half an hour ago." "He's lying, I didn't do that." "But you told me you were done with her." When his girlfriend stormed off, Logan rushed in and slapped Sammy across the face. Furious, Sammy wanted his dad to stand up for him, but his dad had no intention of getting involved. Father and son even argued over it. Afraid Logan would retaliate, Sammy went to Claudia, Logan's girlfriend, to speak up for him. But since Sammy couldn't lie to save his life, Claudia exposed him instantly. And ironically, that moment is how Sammy met Monica. Monica loved movies too, and the two of them talked about films all the time. Monica lit Sammy's filmmaking dream again. And no, it's not the kind of movie you're thinking of. With both of them working hard, a beach-themed comedy was born. But while Sammy was lost in creating, his parents' marriage finally came to an end. Even if it took some time, Sammy still finished the edit. The film screened in the school auditorium, and it got tons of praise from classmates. Logan even came by to apologize for what he did earlier. From there, Sammy's life finally got back on track. And that's it for today's story. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support our channel. Movie Recap Team,